The 2022 NBA draft started off with a surprise when the Orlando Magic selected Paolo Banchero instead of the predicted favorite Jabari Smith Jr., who ended up going to the Houston Rockets at number 3. After that, there were plenty more unexpected picks along with some complicated trades that left everybody scratching their heads until the final details came out. It was a lot to take in, and you might have a difficult time making heads from tails. So with that in mind, here are our team-by-team grades for each NBA team following last week's or 2 weeks ago's NBA draft. Hello, friends, and welcome to this very special edition of TXN Sports World. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined, as always, by good old MF Michael Fletcher. The theme of this week, we are awaiting the presence of Michael Bullock. If he comes in, we will catch him up on what he missed. If not, then we'll hopefully have him tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk. But for right now, it's our annual NBA Draft Recap Show. We did it for so many years under our other banner, our original banner, but it's the first time we're doing it under the TXN Sports World banner. We were supposed to do this last week, but because of commitments and scheduling conflicts beyond our control, we had to push it back. So here we are. And you know how we do it? We go down each team, go over their, we'll reveal their picks, give a brief analysis, and give them the grade that we felt it was best. So, alphabetical order as always, and we started off with the Atlanta Hawks. And with their 2 picks, they selected A.J. Griffin, a forward from Duke, and Tyrese Martin, a guard from UConn, via a trade with the Golden State Warriors. Before the draft, Griffin was considered to be a top 10 talent by many evaluators, but teams may have been scared off by his injury history. The Hawks were able to swoop him up at number 16, which could turn out to be one of the steals of the draft. He knocked down 45% of his threes as a freshman at Duke and could have had more shot creation and playmaking ability than he was able to display on a stacked team. He should slot in nicely on the wing for an Atlanta team that needs shooting around Trae Young. Martin is a 4-year player who improved as a shooter and playmaker over the course of his college career. So with that, my grade for the Atlanta Hawks, solid A for the Atlanta Hawks. So not much more to say. MF, Atlanta Hawks kicking it off for our NBA draft recap, and it's only fitting they got one of your Dukies, A.J. Griffin.
Yeah, they absolutely did. A.J. Griffin was very good shooting-wise. Perimeter shooting is going to be the key thing for him when he definitely starts in the NBA. But you also got a guy like Trae Young you're working with. So that's going to be a nice little 1-2 combo. He can shoot. And for him to fall in the laps for the Atlanta Hawks, this one screamed value pick more than anything else. So this was an excellent pick for them and a big opportunity for Atlanta. I kind of have a slight disagreement, Anthony. I got to give it a B+. I thought they did good. I thought it was a solid pick, but nothing that we just said, oh my God. So it's yours.
I only wish Bullock was here because the next team is his reigning, defending, undisputed Eastern Conference champion Boston Celtics. And they only had 1 pick, and it was number 53, selecting J.D. Davison, a guard from Alabama. So, MF, should Bullock be encouraged or discouraged by this pick for his Eastern Conference champs?
Well, at least for JD, I think this was a solid pick. I think this was pretty good for them. At the end of the day, I kind of feel like it didn't really give much for the team. I think there was a lot left that they could have done with this pick. All in all, it was okay. I'm not gonna say that you can't really. I want to say punish them for it. I kind of felt like you could have gone something more differently, more than anything else. Look, I'll say this. At the end of the day, look, a second rounder. It's only a second rounder, and maybe it's something in Alabama guard to help down the road, but it doesn't really scream anything significant. And normally, Anthony, if you know, in the NBA draft, first rounders are guaranteed contracts. The second rounders are a lot more different. They're not guaranteed. So chances are he might not even make the team. He has to fight his way onto the team more than anything else. With that, forgive me for what I'm about to say. It's a C for me. Anthony, it's yours.
With its one and only pick in this year's draft, Boston grabbed a bat and swung for the fences at pick number 53 in selecting Alabama's J.D. Davison. Davison is a former five-star recruit with a great pedigree who struggled at times last season in his one-and-done year with the Tide. However, he brings athleticism you rarely see in a point guard and showed enough as a playmaker to warrant a second-round flyer. Interesting long-term project for someone who entered the college season as a projected first-rounder. It's a small disagreement here, MF. I'm going to go a smidgen higher. B- is my grade for this pick. So not much more to say there. Let's move on to our next team, and that is the Brooklyn Nets. And, well, we don't have to talk about the Brooklyn Nets because they did not make a selection in the 2022 draft. So that's going to be an automatic NA.
Next.
Yep, and it's the first of three teams, spoiler alert. So there'll be two other teams that did not make a pick. So we can bypass the Brooklyn Nets and move on to our next team, which is the Charlotte Hornets. And with their picks, they selected Mark Williams, a center from Duke, and Josh Minott, a forward out of Memphis. It was a wild night for the Charlotte Hornets and a roller coaster of emotions. First, with drafting Jalen Duren at 13, then trading him away. But they did add a big man as expected at 15 with Duke's Mark Williams, a dominant interior presence, and also at 45 selected a high upside wing in Josh Minott. Minott is a raw talent who is still developing. He had 2 threes at Memphis all season, but he has a great frame and incredible athleticism. The tools are there for him to become something, and in Charlotte, he can be a slasher while eventually developing his scoring acumen. So my grade is A- for the Charlotte Hornets. So not much more to say. MF, here you go. Another Dookie, Mark Williams. What do you know about him?
Yeah, Mark Williams, like you said, a great guy down low in the paint, loves to get into the muck, as we like to call it. He's going to be a masher. He's going to be one of those guys that's going to get you rebounds. He's going to get you the assists. He's going to get you the blocks. This is a guy, and he gets you good scoring. But the thing is, and what I like about this, Anthony, not only with that, but with the Bryce McGoverns, is that a team that desperately needed help in the paint got the help they needed. For the first time tonight, I actually agree with your letter grade. I give it an A- as well. So it is yours.
All right, MF, here you go. The Chicago Bulls. They're up next, and they only had one pick, and it was at number 18, and they selected Dalen Terry, a forward out of Arizona. How do you feel about that pick, MF?
Well, I'll say this. It was an interesting pick. I liked it. He's a good player. He's from Arizona, I believe. And the thing is that, look, the only problem I have is that our backcourt is overloaded. Like, there's too many guys in the backcourt. I would love to have gotten a pick where it would have been more of a forward. We need help on the inside. The interior rebounding is kind of a problem that we have. However, he's a 3-and-D guy. He's a guy that you can utilize. He's got great defensive skills, and that's one thing that I think a lot of Bull players are going to kind of lack a little bit. But trust me, at the end of the day, this was a solid pick. I'm not going to poo-poo it. This was a solid B. This was a solid pick for Chicago. I felt like we should have got in a front guy, a power forward, a 3-4-5 guy. I think a 3 or 4 would have been better for Chicago, not another guard. It was an interesting pick, but at the time, that was the best available player on the board. So I can't be mad at Chicago getting Terry where they got him, because At the end of the day, I don't know if we could have gotten anybody better at the point. It was either that or we traded out, and I don't know if there was a trading partner for us at the time. It seemed like there was no trade partners at the time, so we were stuck with the pick. We took the best available at the time. So B for me, Anthony, is yours.
Terry at number 18 was maybe a bit higher than where most projected, but I'm not going to poo-poo the grade either because of that, because the fit is fantastic. He's a combo guard who can handle, rebound, shoot, all-around glue guy who brings the toughness and competitiveness that Chicago fans will love. Great fit. Disagreement here, I'm going to give it a solid A. I'm going to give it a chance. So with that, let's move on to our next team, and that is the Cleveland Cavaliers, and they selected Ohai Agbaji, a guard from the national champion Kansas Jayhawks, Khalifa Diop, a center from Senegal, Isaiah Mobley, a forward out of USC, and Luke Travers, a forward out of Australia. Cleveland should get an A on draft night solely for drafting Isaiah Mobley and pairing him with his brother Evan, who they drafted last year. That was awesome. But I also like the Cavs draft in totality as well. Ohai Agbaji at 14 fits a need and has a clear path to playing time right away. And Diop and Travers are both really interesting developmental prospects. Don't think either will be contributors right away, but if they develop into something down the road, then you've struck gold, given how hard it is to find value in second-round picks. Solid A for me. I got to step away for a moment to tend to a small little matter, so I'll be back in just a moment. And Matt, take it from here.
All right. I'm going to say, yeah, that is Evan Mobley's brother. And even if it made Evan happy, it was a great pick. And also, Anthony also talked about the Abaji pick. That one was actually an excellent pick, no doubt about it. I'm a little about the Diop and Travers. I do believe that if they do transform and do end up being great pickups in that second round, because they ended up with 3 second-round picks. Again, not guarantees. Abaji is guaranteed. He will be on the roster. Guaranteed he'll be on the roster. The others, not so much. They got to play their way in. They got to work their way up. Either they make it to the big squad. If they don't make it to the big squad, they could end up in the D League, which is not bad at all. I mean, you can still develop, work your way up, and make the roster later on down the line. You get into D League, you definitely have a great shot of making it to the NBA. So at the end of the day, I'm also in a firm agreement, Anthony. I got to give it an A as well. So yeah, Cleveland definitely were one of the winners on draft night. So it is yours.
All right, our next team is the Dallas Mavericks. And they had 1 pick, and it came at number 37, selecting Jaden Hardy, a guard from G League Ignite. MF, what do you think of the pick?
This was a great pick for Jalen Hardy. Many people actually had him listed as a first-round talent and fell to the second round. Mark Cuban, I applaud you, my friend. A-. Excellent pick. Picking a guy who is very explosive in the G League for the D League Ignite and doing what he did, and for him to get that pick, who many projected as first round, are you kidding me? That's a steal. They Graham Larson-y this one, so A- for me. Florio, is yours.
And I just received a that small matter I just had to tend to. I just got a text message from Michael Bullock. Unfortunately, he will not be joining us this evening. However, he will be back tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk. So,
all right.
So that's the story there. So, all right. Dallas traded its first-round pick in the Christian Wood deal, but saw an opportunity to grab Hardy in the second round and took their shot. The bucket getter had an up-and-down season in the G League, but his shot making and space creation are some of the best in this draft. A few experts pegged Hardy as a lottery talent, so this is a big swing and potentially a big value acquisition for the Mavs. So, small disagreement here. I'm going to give it a B+. That's my grade on this. So, Move on to our next team, and that is the Denver Nuggets. And they had 3 picks. 2 of them acquired by trade. The one pick they did have was at number 21, and they selected Christian Braun, a forward from the national champion Kansas Jayhawks. Number 30, they had Peyton Watson, a forward from UCLA via the Oklahoma City Thunder. And at 46, Ismail Kamagati, a forward from France, via the Portland Trailblazers. Not too long prior to the draft, people were talking about Braun as a high-value second-round pick. The Nuggets zeroed in on him and got their man at 21. And he should be able to slide in nicely on a Denver roster in need of wing help. Braun is a good athlete who should be able to defend and knock down three-pointers at a decent clip while not being asked to do too much for the Nuggets, who have championship aspirations. Watson is a bit more of a gamble, but he was a top recruit out of high school, so clearly the talent is there to work with. And Kamagati is a huge project that could pay off down the road. B+ for the Denver Nuggets. MF, your thoughts?
I actually agree. B+, no doubt about it. The way I feel about this, it goes like this. I gotta feel like another team, and I'll talk about them later on tonight. But I trust in the Nuggets. I like the pick, especially the Braun pick could pay off, giving away the shooting that he does, and the Kamagati pick might be good for years to come. So definitely there's some projects, recreational projects that's going to be done. But if these guys hit, Denver might be set it up for the next 5 years down the line where they could be legit threats in the Western Conference. They're already there now, but this gives them what I like to call longevity. They could maintain that momentum year in and year out, that we be calling their names as favorites in the West year in and year out, like we talk about Golden State, like we talk about Utah, like we talk about Phoenix, how we're calling their names year in and year out as championship contenders. We might be able to put Denver in that mix, if these 2 draft picks does pan out. Watson too. If they all pan out, and with Nikola Jokic and how they're playing, and with the core that they got already, dude, they might have a Golden State type run. Now, I'm not talking about NBA World Championships, but I mean, they might be consistent enough that we could think of them as NBA Finals contenders, if that makes sense. B+. Floyo, it's yours.
All right, MF. Next team, we're going to play an old favorite here. Detroit basketball. Yes, sir. Shout out to Mason. The Detroit Pistons. And they selected and just like with the Denver Nuggets, they had 3 picks, but 2 of them came via trades. Their outright pick at number 5 selected Jaden Ivey, guard out of Purdue. 13, they got Jalen Duren, who was selected at number 13, the center from Memphis via the Charlotte Hornets. And then pick 36, Gabriel Procida, a forward from Italy via the Portland Trailblazers. MF, I don't know about you, but for me, the Detroit Pistons were damn sure one of my big winners of draft night. I'm sure you concur on that.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. And as a matter of fact, it's going to reflect it in just a minute. The Jalen Ivey pick, I mean, there's really nothing more to add about it. To combine him with Cade Cunningham, that's about to become the lethal dose of poison that back in the day when Vince McMahon injected the poison of the NWO, this might be a lethal dose of poison that's gonna shake up the Central Division in the NBA. I mean, this is gonna become a powerful force. And then on top of that, to get Julian Duren, that's an absolute steal of a pick. So 2 picks that were lottery picks and two great players. And to get him with the number 1 overall pick, Cade Cunningham, that they got from a year ago, then adding Kemba Walker on top of it because of the trade with the New York Knicks? Whoa, hold up, timeout, A+, top 3 in my draft class. They came up with a bronze medal for me. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Anthony, it's yours.
Jaden Ivey, Jalen Duren, and Cade Cunningham are going to be playing basketball on the same court together. Think of all those folks who have NBA League Pass subscriptions. I mean, the sound you hear is them weeping with excitement. Did not expect Ivy to fall past number 4, but Detroit rightly scooped him up at 5, solidifying its backcourt for the future. Then grabbing a high flyer in Duren ensures this team will have a lob target to set up Cunningham and Ivy for success. Procida is a stash candidate, but could pay dividends down the road. This team is going to be so much fun. 100% concur and agree with your grade, MF. It's an A+ for me. Like I said, one of my big winners of draft night. We all agree on that. And now we move on. Celtic fans, cover your ears because we're moving on to your reigning, defending, undisputed NBA champion, Golden State Warriors. 3 picks, 2 outright, 1 via trade. Number 28, they selected Patrick Baldwin Jr., a forward out of Milwaukee. Here's the trade pick. Number 44, they got Ryan Rollins, a guard from Toledo via the Atlanta Hawks. And at 55, they selected Gui Santos, a forward out of Brazil. The Warriors may have hit another home run in the draft. Baldwin was one of the top players in his high school class before a disastrous year at Milwaukee. So clearly the talent is there to be unlocked through the tutelage of a proven Golden State developmental staff. Rollins is a certified bucket getter from the guard position who should be able to compete for a spot. Santos is probably a stash who won't make an impact anytime soon. If the idea is for the champs to continue to build toward the future while remaining perennial title contenders, they're doing a great job. Solid A for the champion Warriors. So not much more to say on my end. MF, your grade for the champs.
I'm sorry, what team are we on? I just apologize.
No problem. We're on the NBA champion Golden State Warriors.
Oh, the champs. All right. Well, now I truly feel bad. Apologize to all the Warrior Nation. It's one thing if you make a mistake and you kind of let one get away, but whenever you let one get away and you kind of get distracted, and it's the NBA World Champions. Oh, whoa, okay. Well, I will say this. Not the best draft, and I will openly admit that. I could say this was a C+. I thought they did okay, but definitely the Patrick Baldwin pick is the one that I'm really worried about. He is injury prone. I think you're rolling the dice big time on that pick, and I really hope for the best, but we'll wait and see how it plays out. So there's really nothing more to add. And so Anthony, it's yours.
All right, next up is the Houston Rockets, and they had 3 picks, 2 outright, 1 via trade. They selected at number 3, Jabari Smith, the forward out of Auburn. Number 17 selected Tari Eason, a forward out of LSU. And then here's the trade pick at number 29, Ty Washington, a guard out of Kentucky, via the Minnesota Timberwolves. MF, Houston. Would you consider
the winners?
Them winners?
The winners. They got the highest grade of them all. This is an A+, and to me, the winners of the draft. this is my top team. This is the number one team. They get the gold medal. Give them the belt for the best draft in the 2022 NBA draft. I thought they did absolutely phenomenal getting Jabari Smith at number 3. Come on. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. My computer just froze up on me for a moment. It's okay. No harm, no foul.
Okay.
But I will say this. What I was trying to say before I was interrupted. It seems like my computer is slowing up again. All right. So like I said, the Jabari Smith pick was the best pick of the draft. It was without a doubt the best pick, and all the other setups were amazing. For me, at the end of the day, they won the draft. A+ for me. They get the number 1 pick. They get the gold medal. So Anthony, it's yours.
This is 2 great drafts in a row for the Rockets, who were thrown a bit of a curveball when the Orlando Magic decided to take Paolo Banchero at number 1. Smith might actually be a better fit for the Rockets, given his ability to space the floor and defend multiple positions. And he'll join Jalen Green as franchise cornerstones to kick off the rebuild. Easton is one of the best defensive prospects in the draft, with shooting and playmaking upside, while Washington had a lottery grade for many evaluators. Great night for Houston. I'm not quite as high as MF, but I'm right there with him. It's a solid A for me. They were one of my winners, and I just thought Detroit was my winner, really. But
I disagree there. I got Houston winning it. I do have Detroit in my top 3.
Yes,
but I got Houston as my winner of the NBA draft, and there is one other team, and we're getting pretty close to them as well.
All right, fair enough. Next up, it is the Indiana Pacers. And this has been a theme. 3 picks. The first 2 were outright, and the third was via a trade. Indiana Pacers selected at number 6 Benedict Mathurin, a guard from Arizona. Number 31 selected Andrew Nembhard, a guard out of Gonzaga. And then the trade pick at number 48, Kendall Brown, a forward from Baylor via the Minnesota Timberwolves. Value for the Pacers. Mathurin could easily have been a top 5 pick. They get him at 6. Nembhard was mocked in some places to be a top 25 pick. They get him at 31. Kendall Brown was seen as a near lock to go round 1. They get him at 48. One a night for Indiana. Another one of my winners. Solid A for the Indiana Pacers. MF, your thoughts? Up you. I don't know if you had to. Did you go on mute there, MF? I think you stepped. All right. Waiting for MF to come back in. I think he might have stepped away for a moment, but or unless he's having an issue, but no. It's a solid A for me when it comes to the Indiana Pacers. Solid for them. And all right, there's MF. All right, MF. Indiana Pacers. Solid A.
No, you're right. Solid A for me as well. And you said it. Value. The first two picks are going to be with Tyrese Harbison and Markstrom. It's going to be a great combination, and these two are gonna carry a lot of value. A great pick for a rebuilding franchise. I mean, you can't go wrong with it. This was a solid A for me. Yeah, this was not one of the big winners, like I said earlier, but still a winner in my book. They were definitely in like my top 10 for the draft this year. So Anthony, it's yours.
All right, and now we move on to the two Los Angeles teams. And we're going to start it off with the first one, and that is the Los Angeles Clippers. One pick, and it came at number 43, and they selected Musa Diabate, a forward out of Michigan. MF, how do you like this pick for the Clippers?
I thought they did pretty good with this one. I thought, I'm going to say it sort of doesn't really matter here. But the thing is that once they get Kawhi Leonard back and he's fully healthy, it's going to be a fine pick. It was an okay pick. I'm not going to say it was anything spectacular. It's a B for me. It was a nice pickup. It's a B. So, Anthony, it's yours.
Not as high as you are, MF. It's hard to imagine the Clippers getting much help in their quest for an NBA title with the number 43 pick. But Diabate could be an interesting chip for the future, given his size and intriguing, albeit raw potential. C+ is my grade for this pick. So let's move on to the other Los Angeles team, and that is the Los Angeles Lakers. They also had one pick, and that pick came at number 35, and they selected Max Christie, a guard out of Michigan State. Christie is a good player for this draft slot in a vacuum, but it's hard to imagine a 19-year-old making a significant impact on a team perennially in championship or bust mode. Christie provides shooting, which the Lakers need, but with more NBA-ready prospects available at number 35, you have to wonder whether they should have gone in a different direction. Same as the Clippers for the grade, C+ for the Lakers in this pick.
And Disagree. C- is my grade. It's a hit or miss. And yeah, I mean, to get a pick like this, I mean, we got to wait and see how it plays out. I will say this. He could either be a perennial all-star or he could be a guy that, I hate to say this, he only shot 32% from the field in the last 3 seasons. I mean, what are you going to get? It's going to be either a feast or famine. I don't know, Anthony. And then especially with the quality that the Lakers have and the standards that they have, I don't like this pick at all. C-. Anthony, it's yours.
Next up is the Memphis Grizzlies. 3 picks, 1 outright, 2 via trades. Number 19 selected Jake LaRavia, a forward out of Wake Forest. Actually, no, all three of these picks came via trades. Number 19, Jake LaRavia, a forward out of Wake Forest via the Minnesota Timberwolves. Number 23, David Roddy, a forward out of Colorado State via the Philadelphia 76ers. And at number 38, Kennedy Chandler, a guard out of Tennessee via the San Antonio Spurs. MF, they didn't have any outright picks. They acquired all 3 of these picks via trade.
There was one other. You're missing one. It was actually pick number 47. They actually ended up getting Vince Williams. That's the 4th pick, Anthony. Okay. You actually missed that. He was number 47. Well, I don't have it on my.
I'm off a different list here, and I don't see it here. But
yeah, there was actually another player named Vince Williams. He was number 47. He was actually on the list as well. So, With that said, it's a B+. That's my grade that I'm going to give him. Yeah, a lot of trades, and the thing was, they were looking for guys that they needed it to get. I think it was a solid pick. So I really got nothing bad to say. At the end of the day, I thought they did a really good job with it. So, yeah, B+ for me. Anthony, it's yours.
The Grizzlies probably drafted LaRavia a bit above where most other teams had him, and they drafted Roddy way above where most teams likely had him. But Memphis wouldn't have traded up if they weren't convinced it was worth it. Chandler was a nice get in the 2nd round, and all 3 appear to be Grizzly-style players, tough and versatile. And I actually agree with the grade of that. B+ for me as well. So now we move on to the Miami Heat. 1 pick, number 27, selected Nikola Jovic, a forward out of Serbia. Miami had just one pick in this year's draft, but did its best to make this one really count, selecting high-ceiling combo forward Nikola Jovic from Serbia. The 6'10" prospect brings a rare combination of size, handling, and scoring to the table, and at 19 years old, there's a ton of room for growth for him. Maybe not someone who can contribute next season in a major way, but a promising young prospect for the Heat. Solid B for this lone pick for the Miami Heat. So, MF, your thoughts?
There's some thought that the Heat could have gone after a more effective, immediate impact player with this pick, but it was late in the first. The rotation was pretty stacked, and Jovic could end up being terrific in the years to come. I agree, Anthony. This was actually a B for me as well. So let's move on.
And next up, the Milwaukee Bucks. 2 picks. At number 24, they selected Marjan Beauchamp, a forward out of G League Ignite. And number 58 selected Hugo Besson, a guard from France. All right, MF, what says you regarding the Milwaukee Bucks picks?
Well, with Milwaukee, let me see if I can find my notes here. Okay. It does take some time. I do apologize, guys. Let's see. Please don't tell me here. All right. You know what, Anthony? Why don't you lead off, and then I'll be right, and I'll be with you in a minute. It seems like my thing's kind of going a little slow here.
Yeah, welcome to my world. You know how many times I've had to deal with that. So
yeah. Oh, I got it. I got it.
All right, very good.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, so at the end of the day, I thought it was an all right draft for Milwaukee. You know, I think they could have done a little better, yes, but at the end, I think they did fine for what it was worth. I think they, with picks wise that they did. Look, this is what they're gonna do. Marjan is a great pick. He's going to be an immediate impact contributor and could be one of the helpful guys on both ends of the court. The other two, like we said, not guaranteed, so they're going to have to work their way and earn their spots. But at the end of the day, B plus. I thought the first pick that Milwaukee did was an immediate home run, and he's going to make immediate impact on the team. And I know one person who's going to be very happy, the Greek freak Giannis, and maybe even Chris Middleton, if Middleton is fully healthy next year. I think those two guys are going to love this guy. Anthony, it's yours.
Milwaukee did well for itself in setting out to add pieces who could potentially contribute to winning during its contention window right now. Beauchamp is one of the older prospects in this draft with a strong pedigree coming off a big year with the G League Ignite, and Besson is a fabulous scorer from range at his size. Once again, we agree, MF. B plus is my grade as well for the Milwaukee Bucks. So let's move on to our next team, the Minnesota Timberwolves. 2 picks, and they selected at number 22, Walker Kessler, a center out of Auburn. And at number 26, Wendell Moore Jr., forward from Duke. The Wolves moved their picks around, but ultimately landed an elite rim protector in Kessler and a prototypical 3-and-D wing in Moore. Kessler may have some trouble staying on the floor against quicker teams, but he was an elite shot blocker in college and can eat up minutes with Karl Anthony Towns on the bench. Moore should compete for playing time immediately on a team desperately craving wings. Overall, Minnesota filled 2 needs with solid players. B plus, MF, Minnesota getting one of your big stars from the Dukies, Wendell Moore Jr.
No doubt about it. Getting Wendell Moore Jr. was a big get, and yeah, it was definitely another solid performance. As far as Minnesota goes, slight, you know what? I gotta say, slight disagreement here. I'm going B minus. I think they did good. I like the trades that the moves that they did, and then they got the biggest trade. We'll get into that next week on the show because Minnesota You thought the draft was great. Oh no, you don't know what they pulled off. They pulled a heist, and I still cannot believe they did that. B minus for the draft, but what they did after the draft, whoa, is all I'm gonna say. Anthony, it's yours.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to. You're gonna have to tell me all about that afterward. But
You know about the trade?
oh yeah, you might have sent it to us, right? I'm guessing you sent it
Yeah,
to us. Okay, all right.
the Gobert.
Oh yeah, okay, all
You
right.
come on, Floyo, you should have known.
Well, I mean, I'm not on top of the NBA as much as I used to be, but
I can tell.
but yeah, I'll definitely yeah, we'll definitely get into that. But for right now, let's move on to our next team, and it is the New Orleans Pelicans. And they had 3 selections. They selected at number 8 Dyson Daniels, a guard from G League Ignite. At number 41, EJ Liddell, a forward out of Ohio State. And at number 52, Carlo Makovic, a center out of Serbia. All right, MF, your grade for the New Orleans Pelicans.
I thought they did all right. I thought they did pretty good with this one. This is another B to B plus level. I mean, I don't think it was it wasn't the most perfect draft for them. I thought they did all right. I thought they did solid for what it was worth. And again, it was just one of those that it just stood out. They did really well. They addressed the needs that they needed it to address, but the biggest move that they got was they inked up. Well, we'll get into that next week as well. Like I said, we got a loaded show here, folks. For next week's TXN Sports World. So they did well. They did well. Nothing more to say. Florio is yours. B to B plus level.
Yeah, we'll be sure to plug the content for that show at the end, but in our future content.
Yeah.
Just run that by me. So, all right. A defense first guard with size, Daniels is the perfect player to put next to all of the offensive firepower on the Pelicans once Zion Williamson returns. Snagging Liddell in the second round is a huge win since most evaluators had him going in the first round. Makovic probably won't make much of an impact, but he brings great size and athleticism as a big man. Overall, a home run draft for the New Orleans Pelicans, and this is another one of my winners. This is definitely a disagreement for me. A plus. That's my grade for the New Orleans Pelicans. So with that, let's move on to our next team, which is the New York Knicks. 1 pick, and they selected at number 42 Trevor Keels, guard from Duke. The Knicks did a lot on draft night, and yet came away with very little in terms of tangible assets, though they did indeed add assets. Their first big move was selecting Ousmane Dieng at number 11 and trading him for 3 future firsts to Oklahoma City. Their next big move was a 3-team deal with Detroit and Charlotte that sent Kemba Walker to the Detroit Pistons and also sent Jalen Duren, who the Knicks briefly acquired to Detroit. Finally, their last move of the night was an actual draft pick in selecting Duke's Trevor Keels at 42. All in all, it was an active night for this front office. And while it feels like they gave up a bit just to move off Walker's contract and open cap space, I like both the addition of Keels at 42 and the return value from OKC and getting multiple firsts for Dieng. So I'm going to give it a solid B for the New York Knicks. So, MF, you briefly mentioned the Knicks earlier with those trade acquisitions and all that, but the one pick that they did have, they got another one of your Dookies, Trevor Keels.
Yeah, Trevor Keels very much an messiah for the Knicks, who made waves earlier in the night by trading out from the number 11 pick, sending it to the Thunder, and getting rid of the Kemba Walker contract in the 3-team deal. We're gonna get into that next week. Reaping the future assets along the way. Didn't seem popular with the fan base, but they'll win them over eventually. But the kinds of trades that makes good teams, the New York Knicks now have a slew of draft assets going forward and future salary cap space because They were going after Jalen Brunson. Did they get him? We'll get into that next week on the show. There's a lot of free agency stuff that we need to get into. Brunson is one of those guys. So, but I will give it a B plus for the New York Knickerbockers. So, Anthony, back to you.
All right, here we go. Well, actually, no. The next pick is the big one. But next up, it is the Oklahoma City Thunder. 4 picks. They selected at number 2, the second overall pick. They selected Chet Holmgren, the center out of Gonzaga. At number 11, Ousmane Dieng from the forward from the New Zealand Breakers. And then at number 12, Jalen Williams, guard out of Santa Clara. And 34, another Jalen Williams, a forward out of Arkansas. MF, a very busy night for the OKC Thunder.
Very busy night, and one of the winners. This is the team that gets the number 2 spot. If you remember, I talked about how Houston won the draft, how Detroit was my number 3. This is my number 2, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Chet Holmgren at number 2 is an absolute steal. I cannot believe that he fell to 2. I honestly thought he was going to go number 1. I honestly thought he was going to go to the Orlando Magic. He did not. He fell right in the laps of OKC, and they snatched him correctly. That's the guy you needed it to get. He is a front court phenom. He's going to get you rebounds. He's going to get you scoring. He's going to get you blocks. He is the best overall player in the NBA draft, in my opinion. And I do believe he'll be a superstar for the Oklahoma City Thunder for years to come, rivaling the years that a certain player named Kevin Durant played for OKC and was a major star. I think Chet Holmgren is going to be a major star for OKC. A+, silver medal for the NBA draft, in my opinion. Florio, go.
All right. Holmgren could end up being the best player in the draft, so this is already a great night for OKC. And Dieng may have the biggest upside of any player taken in the late lottery. Number 12 may have been a bit high for Jalen Williams, not to be confused with the other Jalen Williams they also drafted. But his stock rose like crazy during the pre-draft process. The bigger Williams from Arkansas is an intriguing talent who took a ton of charges and was seen by some as a first-round possibility. It's a small smidgen disagreement here. A- is my grade for the Oklahoma City Thunder, but they're definitely up there, no doubt about that. Now, this is the team, the Orlando Magic, with the number 1 overall pick in the NBA draft, and they used it on the star player from MF's Dukies, Paolo Banchero. He went number 1, forward out of Duke. And then at number 32, they also selected Caleb Houston, a forward out of Michigan. Those were the 2 picks for the Orlando Magic. Mega haul. Love it. Banchero was the surprise prize at number 1 for Orlando. And I think his fit is even better than Jabari Smith Jr. would have been. Will be a day 1 star. Adding Houston at 32 is a great swing as well. Former 5-star with great positional size and can shoot the 3. The only knock here is Orlando is trading one of its second rounders, pick 35, to the LA Lakers for cash. Come on, man. Solid A for the Orlando Magic otherwise. So, MF, Orlando with the steal, your boy Paolo Banchero. Oh my goodness, I saw him in the tournament. Dude was a stud, man.
He was a stud. He was amazing. And you know what? He believed that he was going to be the number 1 overall pick. A lot of people were stunned because, like I said, there was 3 guys that could have been number 1. I think a lot of people thought it was going to be Chet Holmgren going in. And then when we heard that it was Pablo Banchero, I think a lot of people were shocked. You know, I wasn't really shocked, but I was overwhelmed. I was over the moon. So happy to hear the fact that, Pablo goes number 1, but at the end of the day, I could give this a B minus. I mean, a B plus. I thought they did a really good job. Yes, there is a high risk, high reward with Paolo being number one. Because, like you said, you had Jabari Smith, you had Chet Holmgren. Did they get the best of the three? That's going to be a debate for years to come. Did Orlando make the right move at number one? Did they make a great move, or did they screw the pooch? We're going to have to wait and see. But at the end of the day, I thought they did a fine job. So nothing more to say. Anthony, back to you.
And next up is the Philadelphia 76ers. They traded the number 23 pick and Danny Green to the Memphis Grizzlies for DeAnthony Melton. MF, what's your grade on this move?
Well, look, I'm gonna say it. I like Philly. I thought they did all right. I don't think it was the best pick though. I don't think it was the best move. I kind of felt like you could have done something better with it. I kind of feel like this is kind of more or less a little bit of a swing and a miss. I'm sorry, I can only give this maybe like a C plus. I don't understand the move. I think that's the best way to say it. So C plus. Sorry, Philly. Much love to you guys, but I wasn't completely sold with this. So Anthony, it's yours.
Philadelphia dealt pick number 23 and Danny Green on draft night to the Memphis Grizzlies and cashed it in from Memphis guard DeAnthony Melton, giving them another backcourt piece to surround James Harden with in Philly. Melton's a nice little combo guard who can play a little on and off the ball as a glue guy. But it feels like the 76ers sacrificed a potentially more impactful player in the draft to add someone who could possibly be a rotation piece right away. Tough trade-off, but I see the rationale, especially for a team that fancies itself a contender. I agree with you on this grade, MF. 100% concur with it. C plus is my grade as well for the Philadelphia 76ers. And we move on to the second of our three teams that did not make a pick, and that was the team that finished with the best record in the NBA last season, the Phoenix Suns. No picks. Suns did not make a pick during the 2022 NBA draft, so it's an automatic NA for the Phoenix Suns. So we can bypass.
And just like I said earlier in the night, next.
And that next is the Portland Trailblazers. They had two picks. They selected at number 7, Shadon Sharp, a guard from Kentucky, and at number 57, selected Jabari Walker, a forward out of Colorado. And yeah, I get this one. All right. Sharp has been called a quote-unquote mystery man so many times it's become annoying, but there really is a huge disparity between his floor and his ceiling. Either way, he should serve as enticing trade fodder as the Blazers attempt to once again build a contender around Damian Lillard. And if Lillard should ever leave the franchise, Sharp could be the next cornerstone. Nabbing Walker with the penultimate pick in the draft could also end up filling a front court void. Solid B is my grade for the Portland Trail Blazers. MF, what says you?
Again, I agree. Solid B. So yeah, no doubt about it. Anthony, you made it. You made every point perfect. So next team.
Sacramento Kings. One pick, and it was number 4. And they selected Keegan Murray, a forward out of Iowa. What do you say about that, MF?
I thought they did a good job with this pick. I thought they did for what they had. This was one of those that it was a solid B. It was a solid B for me. I thought they did a good pick here, so there was really nothing more to add. So, Anthony, it's yours.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and the Kings clearly felt Murray was the belle of the ball. He's a really good prospect, but they passed on Jaden Ivey, who many considered very close to, if not on par with, the top 3 players in the draft. You have to assume they tried to trade down but couldn't find a way to do it while still getting Murray. Will the versatile forward end up being the perfect fit and lead them to the promised land? Perhaps. But there's a decent chance Ivy turns out to be an all-star or better and makes Sacramento regret its choice again. Disagree with this pick, MF. Solid C is my pick, is my grade for the Sacramento Kings. Next up, the San Antonio Spurs, 3 picks. And they selected at number 9, Jeremy Sochan, a forward from Baylor. Number 20, Malachi Branham, a forward from Ohio State. And at number 25, selected Blake Wesley, a guard out of Notre Dame. The Spurs drafted 3 very different prospects and all have tremendous upside in their roles. Sochan is probably the best all-around defender in the draft. Branham is a plus shooter with the ability to create his own offense, while Wesley is a lightning-quick combo guard with scoring, playmaking, and defensive potential coming out of his ears. Overall, this is a great haul for San Antonio. Solid A for the San Antonio Spurs. MF, what says you?
Slight disagreement. You're very close. A- for me. San Antonio, if you remember, used to be one of the most powerful teams when it came to NBA drafting. Whenever, and you remember, there were years when San Antonio was at the top of NBA draft boards. They have petered off a little bit, but let me tell you, man, this was consistency. This was like the glory days of San Antonio Spurs basketball. The way they drafted, filling needs, filling gaps, guys that they know are going to be perfect guys that they needed. And you also got, I got a funny feeling that Greg Popovich had his hand on this one. Knowing him, knowing his IQ, I mean, there's no reason why that 3 great players, diamonds in the rough like this, falls to San Antonio like that. And you're just like, are you kidding me? And this is the equivalent of like when the New England Patriots does drafting in the NFL draft. It's like a master class what this team does year in and year out. A- for the San Antonio Spurs. Anthony, it's yours.
All right, next up, the Toronto Raptors, and they had only 1 pick, and they selected at number 33, Christian Koloko, a center out of Arizona. MF, your grade.
B is my grade for Christian Koloko. It wasn't looking to reinvent the wheel. Koloko is a fine pick at 33. The product projects as a rim runner. So he'll be able to play on both sides of the end. He gets block shots. He's a good rotational player. And at the time, I'd probably say probably the best thing that they could have done at the time with the talent that they were trying to get in the second round. This was a high second round draft pick. So I mean, I hope he delivers, but he's a solid 4 or 5 more than anything else. So B for me. Anthony, it's yours.
The Raptors tend to favor prospects with length, so grabbing Koloko at number 33, even if it felt like a bit of a reach, certainly jives with what this front office typically likes to look for. He's a long center who can really block shots and is coming off a fabulous year with Arizona, in which he won Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year honors. However, MF, I'm not as high on the pick as you are. C+ is my grade for this pick. So, and we move on to the third and final team that did not make a pick in this year's NBA draft, the Utah Jazz. The Jazz did not make any picks in this NBA draft, so that's another automatic NA. So, well, we got one team left. We're just about at the finish line. So, MF, you might actually have a little time to give us your big 3 report here, because this didn't take as long as we thought.
All right.
Yep. So get that ready while I take us through the final team of the night, and that team is the Washington Wizards. And they had 2 picks, and they selected at number 10 Johnny Davis, a guard from Wisconsin, and at number 54 Yannick Nzosa, a center out of Congo. With AJ Griffin, Ousmane Dieng, and several other high upside talents on the board, Washington selecting Johnny Davis at 10 felt like the safe, but maybe unspectacular path. He'll be a good NBA player, but can he be a star? At number 10, it would have been nice to see the Wizards swing for the fences. Solid two-man draft, rounded out by Yannick Nzosa, the second youngest player in the draft, who at number 54 presents some above-the-rim skills that could earn him run in the NBA. So my grade for the Washington Wizards is a solid C. MF, take this part home, and then I'll turn it over to you for your latest. Well, I know it's going to be a little bit because we missed out a little bit, but it's going to be a bit of a nice little big three report from your end. So it's all yours.
Yeah.
Man.
All right. So as for the pick, I disagree. It's a B. Davis had a breakout season with the Badgers and earned his spot here, but it's still hard to see if he's NBA ready, though. He had a lot of game which projected making the tough shots, and the mid-range is off the dribble. Is it going to translate to the next level? One could probably surmise, but particularly durable in the modern NBA, yes, he should be more effective in the offense and isn't heavily relied on because, with the players that he's got, but they're not quite sure at taking them that high. But I do believe that Johnny Davis should be able to be a prototypical guard. He'll definitely be really good. And I got high hopes on him. So I'm going to go with a B to end the NBA draft. So, Anthony, let me get ready and set up the big three, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah. What do we have to do here? A couple weeks worth?
It's like 2 weeks worth of It's like 2 weeks worth of action. So week 2 and week 3.
And then you'll set the table for this week.
Yes.
For week number 4.
Yes.
All right. So now the way you do your notes, do you get them off of the Big 3 site itself?
Yes, I do.
Okay. The only difference is you got to go in the order of left to right all the way. It says game. You notice it'll say game 1, game 2, game 3 underneath.
Yeah.
And then for the Saturday, and then game 1, game 2, game 3 for the Sundays. So, like say for example, when you did your last recap, the Trilogy Triplets game started it. Then it was Bivouac and Three's Company, and then Ghost Ballers, Three-Headed Monsters, Enemies, Aliens, Ball Hogs, Killer Threes.
Well, what I do is I just go off of whatever I go off. So
yeah, you go.
That's how.
Yeah, you go. Left, you go three. You go top to bottom on the left, and then top to bottom on the right.
Yeah,
that's how I've usually seen you do it. But the real way to do it is left, right, left, right, left, right. Simple.
Yeah, no, I get it, Florio. But the thing is, like I said, I always throw it. That's why I always enjoy it, because I like to spin it my way. I don't.
All right.
I don't like to conform to anything. So
I know.
That's why. But I get it. I get where you're coming from.
But, yeah, because it coincides with the game order. So
yeah, well, like I said, sometimes I care less about game orders or anything like that. But
understand.
But I will give it the way that you wanted me to do it. Week 2 of the Big 3, Three's Company versus Tri-State. That was game 1 from Chicago at the Credit Union 1 Arena. Well, Florio, cover your ears on this one.
I see it.
Because Tri-State hammers Three's Company into submission, 51-35, the final score. And let me tell you, Three's Company, they had 2 good performances by Mario Chalmers and Michael Beasley. Mario Chalmers had 15 points, and Michael Beasley had 11 points. But you had 3 guys on Tri-State in double figures. Jason Richardson, 21 points. Deron Summers had 18 points. And Justin Dedman had 12 points, all in the victory for Tri-State. They go to 1-1. Of course, that also sends back Three's Company to 1-1. Game number 2 of that was Triplets versus Aliens, and the Triplets remains undefeated, 2-0 at the end of this game, and as they won it by the final score of 50-33, another dominating performance. 3 guys in double figures. Jeremy Pargo, the Pargo brothers actually dominated on this one. Gennaro and Jeremy, 18 and 17 respectively, and of course Joe Johnson, ISO Joe, 13 points in the winning effort. Once we get into the loot and the aliens, Deshaun Stevenson and Duzman Blunt, 12 and 10 respectively. And yeah, you guys saw it. So Triplets 2-0 in the Big Three season. The third game and the final game on the Saturday slate, the Ghost Ballers went up against the Ball Hogs, and this was the game of the day. This was the game of the day as the Ghost Ballers, they remain undefeated, winning the game 50-43. Mike Taylor, 19 points in the win. Chris Johnson had 17 points. In the losing effort, you had Jody Meeks. He had 16 points. Karan Irving had 11 points. And, of course, the grand return of Leandro Barboza, 10 points in a losing effort as the Ghost Ballers remains undefeated at 2-0. All right, going to the Sunday slate. Starting it off, game number 1, as it was the Three-Headed Monsters going up against Power. Three-Headed Monsters wins the game 50-44. I remember watching this game live as it happened. This was an unbelievable matchup, to say the very least. So at the end of the day, it was Kevin Murphy, 23 points in the game. Rashad Lewis had 17 points, and Jonathan Sessions had 10 points. And then over on the other side, you had a great performance by Glenn Rice Jr., had 17 points. Royce White had 15 points, and TJ Klein had 10 points, all in a losing effort. Now, next up on the docket is we had Enemies versus Bivouac. The Enemies won the game. This was the game of the day this was one of the games of the day, as it was 52-49. The Enemies knocking off Bivouac. And the way that this broke down, it was all about Elijah Stewart, man. 27 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists in the game, 3 steals. He had the all-around game. Isaiah Austin had 12 points in the winning performance. But give it up for Bivouac as they had Gerald Green. He led with 25 points and 9 rebounds, almost a double-double. And then you have Corey Brewer with 12 points in the game. Very, very impressive game. And the final game, game number 3 on week 2 for the Sunday slate. And this one was also an exciting battle, as it was the Trilogy knocking off the Killer Threes 51-48, the final score for the winners for Trilogy. Earl Clark, 17 points. Amir Johnson had 16 points, and Isaiah Briscoe had 16 points in the game. For the Killer Threes, Franklin Sessions had 19 points, and Dante Green had 15 points, all in the losing effort. All right. So now that week 2's out of the way, we shifted gears. Week 3, we actually are in Dallas. That's right. They moved to Dallas at the Comerica Arena, or the Comerica Center in Frisco, Texas. So let's start it off. Game number 1, as it was the Enemies versus Power. The Enemies won the game by the final score of 50-37, or 39, I should say. So I'm just going to give scores here. I'm going to give score lines. I'm not going to go full on all deep on this one. The second game we had, the game 2 was Tri-State. They went up against the Killer Threes. Tri-State won 50-38. And then in the game of the day, at the end, the Ball Hogs knocked off the Triplets 50-48. Unbelievable game. You could consider that a major upset, as well as basically it was unbelievable, great game, and Ball Hogs gets the first win of their first win of the season. Then Sunday. Okay. If you saw the Sunday games, you were in for a treat. All 3 games, 1 possession games, 3-point spreads on all of them. First, the Three-Headed Monsters beats Three's Company. Sorry, Anthony. 51-48 was the final score.
Somewhere, sorry to interrupt, but somewhere, the two landlords from Three's Company, Mr. Roper, letting out a and Mr. Furley's up there letting out a damn.
Yep. Well, hopefully they'll bounce back on either Saturday or Sunday. I'll get into that in just a minute. But the other game was the Aliens versus Bivouac. The Aliens won their game 51-48 on that one. And then Trilogy, they won their game over the Ghost Ballers 50-47. Without a doubt, the best games of the week. All right. Now, let's get into it. So, we start off, and actually, Anthony, to give you a heads up here, we got 3 games tomorrow night. That's right, you heard me, guys. These games are actually set for tomorrow night. They're not for Saturday. They are tomorrow, and all games will be on YouTube, on The Zone, and some other website that they use. I don't know the last name. But for YouTube, on the Big 3 channel, we got is Bivouac. They will go up against the Triplets, and that is set to tip off at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Then, game number 2 will be the Killer Threes against the Ghost Ballers. That will be set practically around 9 p.m. Then the game of the night, Three's Company goes up against Power. That game will tip off a little after 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Then Sunday, we got 3 games on CBS. Back on the mothership. We have Aliens going up against Trilogy, the Enemies against Three-Headed Monsters, and Tri-State will go up against Ball Hogs. Coverage starts at 3 p.m. The games will end at so at 3 p.m. will be Aliens and Trilogy. 4 p.m. or approximately 4 p.m. Enemies and Three-Headed Monsters, and approximately a little after 5 o'clock, Tri-State and Ball Hogs. So that's it. That's the lineup. That's what we got. Anthony, it's all yours.
All right. Not too thrilled about Three's Company there. I'm right up there with, I'm a little grumbly like Mr. Roper. I'm ready to let out a and a damn like Mr. Furley would on those classic Three's Company reruns that you can see on Pluto TV like I do every day. So, well, hopefully they'll bounce back. That's all there is to say on that. So, all right. So we'll get into that. We'll have the next round next week. And all right. So here we go. Future content. And tomorrow night, MF, Cerebral Smack Talk, just SmackDown and AEW, right?
Yeah, just SmackDown AEW. There's really nothing else. 11 p.m. as usual.
Yep, and it'll be on MF's channel, Race Fan 95. Michael Bullock will be with us. So we'll get into that tomorrow night. Friday night, our review of Friday Night SmackDown and AEW Rampage. And then from there, Monday night, we got Ridiculously Raw back at our normal time following Raw Monday night. I will review Monday Night Raw, and I'll have my latest Tony's take on Impact Wrestling and NXT Level Up. And then Wednesday Night Madness. Of course, that's NXT and AEW Dynamite. All right, MF, what's on tap for TXN Sports World next week?
Well, the way I see it is we got a lot of news in the NFL. Baker Mayfield getting traded. We all know that.
Absolutely.
So we got that. We also do have a lot of NBA news, a lot of free agency stuff that went down. And then, of course, in our main event, because, guys, next week is actually All-Star Weekend.
No, it's not.
No, when is it?
It's the following week.
Oh, all right. So we'll hold off. We'll hold off on that. So, and we also got some NHL news, too. We got some trades. We had some stuff that happened. So,
schedule came out.
We'll get into that. Not a full length like we do with the NFL. Not like that.
Oh no.
But we'll give our thoughts on certain games, certain matchups that we're excited. We circled two right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
Right out of the jump street. There was two games that me and Florio both looked at each other. We're like, what? Okay, hold up.
Yeah.
So we'll get into it. We'll get into all that next week.
And then, of course, your latest Big Three basketball report. So
yeah, you got it. Yep. So well, we got some stuff we got to work on for the week. So I'm excited.
Yep. And then the following week, we'll have our on TXN Sports World in 2 weeks on July 21st. That's going to be that's going to be a nice little show too. We're gonna recap the home run derby for Major League Baseball, as well as the All-Star game from Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles. We'll also recap the ESPY Awards, because the ESPY Awards will be going down will be going around that week as well.
Yep.
And then MF's latest Big Three basketball report on that week. So we're good for the next couple of weeks. So we'll have to figure out the rest of the way until we get to, of course, probably the last Thursday in August. We're probably looking at, that's probably going to be our season finale of TXN Sports. We're probably looking at August 25th for that, for the regulation shows. As we're going to, on that show, August 25th, we're going to be previewing the college football and NFL seasons. And then the following week, I want to put it out there, Thursday, September 1st. Mark that down on your calendar. Thursday night, September 1st, the series premiere or season premiere of TXN Sports World College Football Thursday. And then the NFL Saturday show will return on Saturday night, September 10th. So circle that all down on your calendars. You don't want to miss out on that. You know how we are about the College Football Thursday and NFL Saturday. Those are my favorite shows of the year. I always look forward to getting into the big college football and NFL games of the week, obviously. So that's it. So until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk, Anthony Florio here for good old MF Michael Fletcher, and in spirit, Michael Bullock and the First Lady Dee Woodson. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Friday, and until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk over on MF's channel, Brace Fan 95. You've been watching this special edition of TXN Sports World, our 2022 NBA Draft Recap. For everybody who has been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long. Bye, everybody. Bye.